Talking about some countries standing up and trying to counter problems, there are other countries that have recognized Palestine. What countries are these, and what's their story?
Okay, so yesterday, the UK, Australia, and Canada recognized the Palestinian state. Both the prime ministers of Australia and the UK, they had a press conference, whereas the UK and Australia and Canada, the prime minister's office made a statement today. France is supposed to, if they haven't already now, recognize the Palestinian state too, in line with the momentum of more countries recognizing a Palestinian state, and with more actions, especially with the Saudi French-led initiative for recognition in the UN and in New York. In my opinion, and although many people are celebrating this recognition, and although recognition is important, but in my opinion, it's more of a symbolic move rather than anything substantial. Because if we hear the statements of, for example, the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, in his speech, he began the speech of condemning Hamas and calling the Palestinian resistance barbaric, and that we need a safe and secure Israel and a viable Palestinian state, that the Palestinians need to have a reform in the PLO, and this is the only hope. And so we're talking about a really gutted declaration in a typical neo-colonialist, supremacist, arrogant, and racist manner towards the Palestinian people. Why? Because of how he's speaking and approaching the Palestinian people. Who are you to tell the Palestinian people who governs them and who doesn't govern them? Why are there double standards and hypocrisy in relation to the demands that you're asking the Palestinians from the Palestinians without any mention of Israel? For example, disarming the Palestinian resistance. How about disarming a genocidal entity that killed over 65,000 people, to be very conservative, by the way, committing a genocide and an infanticide in Gaza, and destroyed everything over the ground inside of the Gaza Strip? They are talking from a colonialist, arrogant, and racist approach. All of them are still Zionists. As a matter of fact, the Canadian Prime Minister, he said he wants a Zionist Palestine. And their moves are primarily a show. Yesterday I called it an actual circus, because there's nothing substantial coming with it. The immediate action that we need is tangible moves to stop the genocide and infanticide and urbanicide and everything else that Israel is conducting in the most barbaric manner in history against the Palestinian people. Then we need to denounce Israel as a state. Why is no one calling for a full democratic one state between the Jordan River to the sea, with multiple ethnicities and religions and races living in it, under the rule of law, equal in the face of the law, receiving equal human rights? Why is that not being mentioned? I'll tell you why. It's because they want to prolong the supremacist entity of Israel, because they want Israel to continue and remain there to cause another genocide in the future. So we shouldn't fall for that. And some people are fortunately celebrate way too quickly, or without having a substantial amount of information of the people themselves. Although the British Prime Minister, for example, he condemned himself in that speech, in that pathetic, supremacist, arrogant speech that he had. They are still approaching the Arab and Muslim nations as if they are below them. And unfortunately, many of these people are not recognizing that fact. The moment you start calling for equal rights for everyone, then we can start talking. But don't tell me I'm recognizing a Palestinian state, but I'll tell you who can govern you. Oh, I'm recognizing the Palestinian state, but you can't be armed. I'm recognizing a Palestinian state, but you know you need to educate people on this and that. And not one word against the most vicious, barbaric country on earth committing a genocide. And they're still complicit. Are you serious about recognizing a Palestinian state and supporting a Palestinian state? How about stopping arming Israel? How about denouncing? How about actually saying that they are responsible? You know, the Western establishment still didn't hold Israel accountable. They will tell you, oh, there is hunger, there's starvation. Sometimes they'll tell you there's man-made starvation campaign. Who's conducting it? People are being killed. Who's killing them? That's when they say some people are being killed or have been bombed. In many cases, they deny, of course, so that they can remove it from their front lines and headlines. So it's more of a show than anything else. Despite that, Israel doesn't like this because to them, they are forming their identity on the denial of the existence of a Palestinian people. They will tell you, oh, they're immigrants from Jordan and Egypt. But Smotrich, Bezalel Smotrich, named after a village in Ukraine, and Netanyahu, aka Milikovsky, who traveled from Poland, and all of the others who came from Belarus and the previous Russian Empire in Ukraine and other European countries, are the owners of the land. It's all a joke. And that's why we shouldn't be waiting on these moves and recognition. If we talk about it from the greater scheme of things, number one, we as Palestinian people don't need you to recognize me. If we're talking about it from a direct, who are you, Eva? We were there way before you, and we don't need your recognition. But if we're talking about it politically, well, show me that you're actually serious by giving the Palestinian people their rights and by applying the right pressure on Israel to deter them. Because the threat of recognizing a Palestinian state and then recognizing a Palestinian state didn't deter them, did it? Last month, what was the British Prime Minister saying? If they don't reach a ceasefire by September, we're going to recognize a Palestinian state. Did it work? It didn't work. What does that mean? That means that you need to find alternative actions to take. Stop joking around, stop fooling the people. Some people, unfortunately, will be fooled, but really and true, so long as there's suffering and genocide happening, don't tell me that your recognition is going to change anything now. That's why we go back to the actions of the Arab and Muslim states. Because the Palestinian state case is not restricted to the Palestinian people. It's an Arab case, it's a Muslim case, and it's a global humanitarian case. That's why we have dignified, honorable people from all over the world supporting this cause and sacrificing and making moves from all nationalities globally. But that's why we need more action coming from the countries surrounding occupied Palestine and the Muslim world too. And again, this move of the pact between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan is good, but it needs to be built upon. We need to see the results of this alignment. Because if you don't translate your military moves into political actions or political demands and bring results with them, what would be the point of them? You need to use and that coalition to start imposing your will in the region, to start working for the rights of the people, to start applying genuine pressure on Israel to stop its genocide in Gaza.
But that's so true. What you're saying, showing seriousness, is about getting on the ground, making tangible changes. While I was skimming through channels, I saw this news first that there are a few countries who have recognized Palestine. And then the very next channel, I saw that there was havoc in Gaza. So, what does that mean? I mean, it doesn't bring any change to the table. I completely understand. But there is when we talk about progress, when we talk about even baby steps, I think that goes a long way.
Uh, Absolutely. 100%. And I mean, you've said it as it is. You go through this recognition, you move to the next. account or channel and you see what's happening in Gaza and you see the destruction still happening. That shows you what? That shows you that this country is not deterred. Imagine for 1 second, if any country, and they are able to do that under international law, if any country told Israel, if you even try to level Gaza, we will level Tel Aviv. Would that have been the case? Why did the Israel-Iran war only last 12 days, whereas all other wars are ongoing? It's because they were met with deterrence. They were met with force, the only language that they use, and the only language that they have been using against the Palestinian people, the only language that they understand. They've been using this against other nations too. And unfortunately, we still haven't seen the full potential of even economic pressure against Israel. It is escalating, it is increasing with time. They are worried about it, and it is affecting the economy. What's happening, by the way, both from the attacks of Ansarullah, the fact that they are conducting a genocide, and also more countries declaring outright boycott. But that also hasn't been explored to its full potential. And the shortest way to do this is to give them an ultimatum as well. If you continue, you will be met with an attack. We will start attacking you. Why should we be seeing images of infants and babies being killed by this racist, supremacist entity on a day-to-day basis? That will never normalize that. Each and every single person in Gaza, they are human beings who have stories, each and every one of them. And even if they haven't been injured, by the way, or anything, although that's rare, they are facing terrible conditions for 2 years now. When are we going to say enough is enough? When are they going to make the moves that will actually force Israel to stop? It's getting there, but it's only getting there by Israel expanding further and getting to them. And if you have any sort of wisdom as a state, as a country, or as a leader, you would not let the fire reach your country. You would take actions to deter anything from happening to you. But because there was no significant deterrence, they went to all sorts of other countries too. They even tried it with Egypt. There were altercations between the Israeli army and the Egyptian army in the past 2 years, by the way, that were quickly diffused. But the Egyptian army showed them, we are on the spot and they'll respond to anything as and when happens. If there was no deterrence, they would have been occupying Sinai already. But then again, in the greater scheme of things, what are you waiting for exactly? Saying all of that, Israel, with its strategic stupidity, is leading the countries collectively to start taking actions to protect themselves. And again, it's only a matter of time up until they have another escalation.